Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Random Shit. Random guys, always. I'm your host, Phil, and we are back. We are 1 week away from Wrestlemania, but this weekend is AEW Dynasty. We're going to get into all that and more on this week's show. We got a ton to talk about, had a lot going on in the world, and we got a ton of topics here. So I want to get through all those today, but make sure before you guys go any further, make sure you like this show. More importantly, hit subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. I don't care who you tell. Just like, subscribe, and also hit that notification bell. Hit that notification bell so that the people know when we are live. So you know, hey, he just posted a new video. He just went live. That way you guys can know ahead of time. And on top of that, it will help grow this channel. I don't know if we got any hot points yet, but if you got some hot points you want to throw our way, throw them our way. We'll take them. Whatever it takes to grow this channel, that's what we're working on right now. So yeah, this is our second video this week. This is going to not be a normal thing. You will get videos each week, several a week, but a live podcast is only going to be once a week, probably starting next week. This week I wanted to kind of get everything out of the way. Since I got the new computer, I wanted to make sure it worked on Sunday, and all that. But I also wanted you guys to get caught up on what's going on before the calm before the storm. And we're getting ready to get busy here. We got a lot of stuff coming out for you guys next week. I would look for at least 5 videos from us next week. We plan on doing a Hall of Fame breakdown video of who's going in the 2026 Hall of Fame class. And everybody knows, but I kind of want to talk about, why they're going in, who they are, what they've done for the business, that sort of thing. I also plan on doing the regular podcast next week. So there's 2 videos. We're going to do 2 separate videos of predictions for WrestleMania, not 1, not 2. And then who knows what else is going on. We're also going to be very busy this weekend as I plan on hitting up a show. I'm not positive which one I'm going to yet, but I am going to a wrestling show. So make sure you follow. I plan on shooting a vlog with that as well. So there's some content for the page. WrestleMania is next week, and we plan on taking advantage of WrestleMania press and all that. So if you like this podcast, make sure, like I said, like this video in particular. Go back and like our other videos. Keep an eye out for shorts. We got all kinds of shorts coming throughout the week. Every video, every podcast we do, there's going to be shorts related to it. There might be shorts just off of other things. I have a couple things in mind that I want to try next week. So we're going to be very busy, very active online. We're also on social media websites. Pretty much anywhere that you can think of, we're there. We are on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on X at RSRG Podcast. We're also on Facebook. Our old Facebook page is still there. It's under RSRG Entertainment. So if you are a fan of this show, go follow us on socials and tell your friends. All right, guys. We are going to get into the meat and potatoes of this week's show, and there is a lot of it. Like I said, we've got talk from WWE Raw this week. We have some Pat McAfee news to follow up last week's Pat McAfee news. There is news with AEW with drama with TNA. We also have news about, we're going to talk about last night's Dynamite. We're also going to talk a little UFC action this week. So we have a ton of stuff for you guys, and we're going to get right into it right now. Thank you guys for being here. If any of you guys want to hop in the chat and say hello, I will throw your comments on the screen. We'll read them. We'll talk about them. And it is going to be a good fucking time. So make sure you are, get comfortable. We're going to be here for a bit. So first off, I want to talk about the biggest topic of the week for me personally was the CM Punk pipe bomb. That's right. CM Punk dropped another pipe bomb on TKO this week. You guys had to know I was going to talk about it. It is literally the title of this video. To me, it's the biggest thing going on right now. And he opened up Raw with a huge promo. They were in Houston, Texas, and he literally come out, opened the show on Netflix with the promo of the fucking year. Like, I got accused last week of being pretty much a hater. I loved this. You went from what I thought was one of the worst promos of the year with Pat McAfee to the best promo of the year with CM Punk. Now, CM Punk opened up this pop bomb promo talking about Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns and CM Punk will be the official main event of WrestleMania. That's right. Night 2 main event, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. And I will give the predictions for that next week. Probably Monday or Tuesday, you will get a I don't want to say reaction. You will get a predictions video on what's going on and who I think is going to take stuff. But he starts out, talking Roman Reigns. He goes out on the announcer table and he's like, "Hey, you guys want a pop bomb? I'll give you one." And he goes in basically comparing Roman Reigns to The Rock. And he's like, "You're not your cousin. You're not a celebrity. You're not a huge star like your cousin." And yeah, he's like, "Yeah, they send you to Jimmy Kimmel because they don't know what I'll say because they can't control me." And he's like, "The reason you hate me is because I had fuck you money and I left and you couldn't do that," which is pretty crazy. He called The Rock a former Hollywood superstar. He called him a bloated cousin on the TKO board. Like, he took a lot of fucking shots at TKO. And it was fucking awesome. And that's all just to promote this match. And then he starts attacking Pat McAfee. Someone that has nothing to do with this. Pat McAfee ain't got nothing to do with this match. But Pat McAfee talks shit about the business. And that was enough for CM Punk to be like, "All right, we are done here. I'm going to go and pop bomb the fuck out of you." And that's exactly what he did. It's crazy to think, hey, we're going to go in here and I'm going to raise hell and I'm going to attack everybody. And there was no one left where it was like, oh, well, maybe he didn't attack him. No, he attacks everybody to the point where he even attacks Ari Emanuel, the owner of TKO, the owner of the Endeavor Group. Like, he's like, basically goes off on him and he starts going off on Pat McAfee. And here is what he had to say about Pat McAfee. Sorry, I lost it. He basically tells him, you're not part of this fucking business. And then he goes on and he says, "Pat McAfee, you buggy whipped arm, no brain hillbilly." And he doesn't call him Pat McAfee. He calls him Pat MAGAfee. He said, "You think you can come into this business, the pro wrestling business, and run your mouth? You wrote a check your narrow ass can't cash. You want to talk ticket sales? Do me a favor. Call up that agent foolish enough to shoehorn you into this business and this show and tell him to lower the ticket prices. I'll be damned if I let someone who kicks a football for a living come into my business and lecture me about selling tickets and putting asses in seats. You got a receipt coming. Houston, lower the ticket prices because I want these families to come and watch me stand over Roman Reigns and stand on Roman's throat at WrestleMania." And that's how he fucking ended the fucking pop bomb, man. It was like, boom, mic drop. And it was just the fact that he was on point Didn't fuck around. He was like, Pat McAfee, fuck you. We're out. Damn. And like, more and more has come out about Pat McAfee. And Pat McAfee didn't drop it there. Pat McAfee went on to his show, and this has been an ongoing thing all week long. And Pat McAfee's been more in the news this week because, like I said, Pat McAfee was selected by Ari Emanuel to be in this spot. The guys this was not a Hunter decision. This was a Ari Emanuel decision. Ari thought Pat would sell tickets. He thinks that Pat McAfee is the next Sylvester Stallone. He's the one that helped Pat get on to the Paramount Plus show that he's on. He's actively shopping the Pat McAfee show to Netflix. That's how much he believes in Pat McAfee, that he has put all of it in. It kind of reminds me of when Ari went all in on Marky Mark. Like, if you guys don't know who Ari Emanuel is, he's literally who Ari Goldstein is based on in Entourage. Like, he is the real life fucking guy. So that's like insane to think that he wouldn't want, like, he's bought this business and he's going to run it however the fuck he wants, but he's picked Pat McAfee of all the people out there to be like, I'm going to put all my eggs in the Pat McAfee basket. And this comes from someone, I know I sound like a fucking hater, but this comes from someone who likes Pat McAfee. I wanted to read a comment from last week's show that kind of, it makes me sound like I'm an asshole, but I wanted to read it. This is from @5 Ivan Dragoff 5 is the name of his YouTube account. It says, I'm 48 and my first memory of watching wrestling was sitting on the floor watching George Steele abduct Miss Elizabeth on Saturday night's main event with my dad. I've been a fan since, and I'm still a fan. I make a choice to be excited about PunK versus Roman and the bloodline slowly reforming. I make the choice to be excited about Cody versus Randy with some possible other parties engaging. I don't care about TKO's bottom line, ticket prices, or what the internet tells me to be angry about. I'm going to watch Mania and enjoy the hell out of it with my friends and family because I choose to allow them to entertain me. It's wrestling, it's fun, it's Mania, it's fun, or be mad because it's trendy and the internet demands it. It's your choice. And you're right, it is your choice. And I will be watching WrestleMania and I will enjoy it. But I also am attempting to join the wrestling conversation. Like, I'm not a journalist. Don't claim to be a fucking journalist. I went to school for journalism, but I'm not a journalist. I'm just a fan. I'm just like everybody else. Like, I buy my tickets. I go to the shows. I buy the shirts. Clearly, I'm a fucking mark. Look at all the wrestling figures behind me. Like, I love this shit. Like, I love this business. And this is my small way of kind of being a part of it. And do I complain sometimes? Yeah. But there's things I don't like and there's things that I love. Last week, I did not actually hated the Pat McAfee being the voice in Randy's head. I hated it. Does that mean I won't like what Pat McAfee's doing in a couple months? No. I could change my mind. But currently, he was not the guy for that, and that promo felt forced. And because of that, I loved the CM Punk promo. And holy shit, did it hit home to me, man. Like, I'm a huge fan of CM Punk's. I was a fan of his in AEW. I was a fan of him before he left. Like, I am a CM Punk guy. But that promo, whoo, man, that was good. And I know there was a writer involved in that, so like it's not like he just come off the dome with it. Could he have went off script some? I don't know. But the thing about wrestling is you want it to be real. It's real to me, damn it, has been a saying for years in the business. This made me want to say it's real to me, damn it, with the ticket prices. Cause like, why call that shit, man? Like, I get it. Maybe there's something going on and they are behind in ticket prices sales. Should that affect how I enjoy the show? No, it doesn't affect how I enjoy the show, but it is a talking point that I believe should be talked about as fans of the business. I'm also, like I said, I'm a huge fan of AEW. When ticket sales were down, I talked about their ticket sales being down. I was at shows for AEW where half the building was closed off. I've been at shows at AEW where all the building was open. Like, WrestleMania is going to look full because they're going to make it look full. And yeah, they're like 18% behind. That doesn't mean they won't sell more tickets before then. I don't think the ticket prices help. Like, they definitely don't help. They're hurting the business. They're making it to where people like me and you can't afford to go watch the shows. Like, I haven't been to a WWE show since TKO took over. The last WWE show I went to was Raw 30 in Philadelphia. Have I had chances to go? Yeah, they've been by here. They're coming again. Like, they're coming to Lexington, I want to say in a couple months. I probably won't go because it's going to be so fucking expensive to go. That being said, AEW ticket prices are lower. And there was a time where they were high and they've lowered them because they want more fans there. It's funny how that works. You sell a reasonable price ticket, you fill the place. You don't have to, like, the thing with WWE, they do not care about filling the place. They look at it as if it's sold out, they didn't sell the ticket prices for high enough. And that's why I think this promo hits so hard, is it's like, it kind of gives the illusion that they give a fuck. But we know guys like CM Punk do give a fuck. So you got it going through him. It's just, that was a great way to open Raw. The last week's Raw was pretty good anyway, but that was awesome. But yeah, I wanted to start off by going into talking about the pop bomb, and then now we're going to kind of transition away from WWE for the rest of the episode. Next week is going to be so WWE heavy that I kind of want to get into some AEW stuff, because they do have AEW Dynasty, which takes place on Sunday at, I think it starts at 7 p.m. on pay-per-view. But before we get there, we still got a little bit more to talk about with AEW stuff. And the one thing I want to talk about first is the AEW versus TNA drama. Now, if you are a fan of both of both companies, you may have noticed last Thursday they went head to head. This was not an AEW decision. This was a Warner Brother Discovery decision. And the reason why is they didn't want AEW Collision to go on at 1 o'clock in the morning, because they had something a little bit more important than wrestling going on Saturday. Like, they had the Final Four. And I'm not talking about, like, I'm talking about the NCAA men's basketball March Madness Final Four. Like, it makes fucking sense that you would be like, oh, okay, we're going to move you to Thursday. They could have put them on Friday. They could have done that. But I think it was easier just to go Wednesday, Thursday. Like, if this was AEW's decision, they would have been on Thursdays a long fucking time ago, because Saturday nights are not a great night. There's a lot of weeks that I miss Collision altogether because it's on the time that it's on. Like, that's just how it is. Like, it's not on a good time slot. So it's tough to be like, hey, I'm moving to Thursdays, but I'm not moving to Thursdays permanently. I'm going to move to Thursdays for this 1 week to fuck with TNA. That just did not happen. Like, TNA needs to get the fuck over it. And then, so all that went on. And I don't know why, but Carlos Silva, the president of TNA Wrestling, has come out and said that he is no longer he's blocking and canceling bookings for several TNA wrestlers. He has first come out that Moose was pulled from Maple Leaf Pro. Now, Maple Leaf Pro is ran by Scott D'Amore, who has a working relationship with Ring of Honor, who is owned by AEW. Like, they had a big, massive show, and originally Moose was pulled from that. Now, there was rumors that Moose didn't want to be on that fucking show in the first place. That's neither here nor there. But originally, that's what got this discussion talked about, is Moose was pulled by the show, and it was, Carlos Silva said that it was a partner disagreement. Well, they have two partners. They have AMC, and I can't imagine that AMC gives a fuck what the hell they're doing. Or their other partner is WWE. And WWE does care what AEW is doing, because they don't want those guys on the same show. But at the same time, why the fuck do they care? Like, TNA isn't benefiting WWE. Like, the relationship is not one of the same. Like, it helps TNA to be part of WWE, but WWE, it does not help having TNA. TNA television is not good right now. It hasn't been good in a long fucking time. Like, TNA comes on 30 minutes. I'm not going to be watching. I mean, I may even still be podcasting for that matter. Who the fuck knows? But, like, the TNA product is not good. They have great talent, but, like, now they're blocking people from being on shows where they can work with other talent on the independents where they are allowed to be. But a lot of these guys are still under contract. Now, there's more than just the Moose situation. The next one that come up was how TNA pulled Nick Nemeth from a show ran by a TNA talent. Nick Nemeth and MJF was supposed to be on Creator Pro. It was like supposed to be their big card of the year. Nick and MJF have been trying to get this match made for a long time, and it finally was going to happen at Brian Myers' school show, Creator Pro, which is where Brian trained MJF. So, like, it makes sense that MJF's going to be there. Now, MJF and Nick Nemeth will still be on that card, but they're not having a match against each other, which is fucking bullshit. Nick is now going to have a match against Bear Bronson, and MJF's going to do an open challenge. Another show they blocked is MJF versus Bear Bronson on GCW. They also blocked Leon Slater versus Ricochet. Like, and that one's a charity show. You know how bad it looks when you pull your wrestlers off a fucking charity show? You're in last place. Why are you doing this? Like, it goes AEW, it goes WWE, AEW, TNA, and then, like, GCW is the biggest indie. So, like, you're pulling people off of these fucking shows or pulling matches apart because you want to be a fucking dick about it? Like, you're not paying your guys very well. They have to go out on the independents. Like, WWE wrestlers don't have to go out on the indies. AEW wrestlers don't have to go out on the indies, but they want to stay sharp. Or in like MJF, he's wrestling more. He's wrestling guys he wants to wrestle. Like, him and Bear Bronson together went on the indies. Like him and Bear trained together. They've known each other for a long fucking time. So MJF being pulled off a match with him on GCW, which was probably going to be happening during Mania week, which is probably why they didn't like it. That's fucking insane. And then, like I said, MJF, Nick Nemeth, that match is one that, why are you fucking around with that? Like, leave it be. TNA are in last place. So you want to look even worse by pulling your talent? It makes no sense to me. And the fact that GCW's got involved now, GCW owner Brett Lauderdale tweeted out, "There's been bumps on the road, but the truth is that Tony Khan and AEW have been good to GCW since day one, both publicly and privately. And I'm grateful and thankful that they continue to allow their talent on our events." That's one thing about it. Like, Tony Khan is not blocking guys from going on to GCW shows or doing independent shows. He let Danhausen go and work there forever when he wasn't putting them on television. He could have left his ass at the house, but instead Danhausen got to keep in shape and wrestle and be active, even though he wasn't on AEW television. He should have been on AEW television, but that's a whole nother fucking story. But Tony Khan let him go to GCW and work. And that's just something that, like, he didn't have to do. He could have blocked that. He had an exclusive contract with him. But instead, he lets those guys go to the independents. And it helps them, and it helps grow talent, and it helps them find new talent. That's one thing, like, TKO doesn't have to do. They sign guys, they keep them. They don't let them go nowhere else, but they are going on GCW. Like, even TKO has a working relationship with GCW because they let their talent go on GCW shows and wrestle. They use their platform for the WWID program. Like, they are very involved in that. I don't know. It's crazy to me that TNA is like, most of their wrestlers are on per appearance deals now, which means they're under contract for a time period, but they don't have to pay them if they don't put them on the show. So they don't want to pay them. They don't put them on the show, but they still have a say over where they get to work. That's fucking bullshit. These guys are treated like independent contractors, but when it's time for them to make their own money, fuck that. Like, it makes no sense. Tony Khan was in the news again. And this one is another win for Tony Khan. Tony Khan went on the Vince Russo and Jonathan Coachman podcast, the Coach and Bro Show, I think is what it's called. Now, I will admit, I'd never and will probably never watch their podcast again. Jonathan Coachman has sounded like a dumbass to me since his time at WWE. And Vince Russo, there's a reason that he's called Shit Stain. He is not good at his job. He's been doing the same booking decisions since 1998. Like, he helped create the Attitude Era. And then he destroyed the Attitude Era by going to WCW and literally making such a bad product that they just got out of the fucking business. Like, 86 weeks. And then Vince Russo shows up and everything goes to shit. Jonathan Coachman was a commentator who thinks that he was part of the fucking business. And they're like, "Oh, Tony, we're going to help you. We're going to give you all these ideas." No, they looked so old. It's not even funny. Like, my favorite line of that podcast with Tony Khan was at the end when they're like, "This is our biggest live audience, but we're going to help you get people watching your show." And it's like, no, it's the opposite. He helped you get people on your fucking show. So pay some goddamn respect. Like, it's just, Vince Russo is fucking insane. Jonathan Coachman's insane. And they're going to be like, for the next, "Oh, well, he didn't listen to us." Jonathan Coachman was like, hey, look into the camera, go to the right. He was like, making sure he was like this. He was like, he wanted Tony Khan to be fucking dead center with his eyes so he could, he could relate to people. What the fuck was that? Like, Zoom is a fucking thing, man. Like, you're not in the same room. Hell, you can't even see my eyes hardly for the damn ring light. Like, it just makes no fucking sense. And that podcast they got a shit ton of views. And I think it was good for Tony Khan to go on there. I'm not going to lie. Like, it showed how different the business is from 1998 to now. It showed how business is different from how it was handled when Jonathan Coachman was there. It's just crazy that those two guys think they can show Tony Khan how to do it. And they're like, Tony was like, hey, things evolve, things change. Vince, what have you changed? Oh, Vince is like, I've been doing the same thing since day one. And I literally, in my car when I was listening to it by myself, said, no shit. And that's why your stuff sucks. A couple notes from last night's Dynamite. Well, two in particular. Chris Jericho come back out, and this time he got a much better reaction than he did in his hometown, which is crazy because he was in the hometown. He should have got the best reaction there. He did not. He did much better last night, and it's crazy because like this is going to be 3 weeks in a row in Canada. But Jericho comes out and he signs a new AEW deal. And Tony Khan was asked about that today at the AEW Dynasty media call. And he was like, yeah, Chris signed a multi-year deal to stay with us. Now, Chris did have options to go to WWE. Chris stayed with AEW. I really think it was best for Chris to go. But I do think this week's show was better. Now, Chris is trying to be a babyface. He was saying all the shit to make you do a babyface, like to try and be a babyface this week. Chris Jericho's a heel, and he works best as a heel. That being said, Chris Jericho did one of his best things. Chris is known for like two big things: the Y2J and the "You Just Made the List." And he goes to sign his contract last night, and Ricochet showed up. And Ricochet's like, nobody wants you here. Don't sign that contract. It's best for you if you just go the fuck home. No one cares about Chris Jericho. So get the fuck out. And Chris goes and he signs the contract. And he's like, there was a stipulation in my contract that I got to pick who I wanted to have a match with at Dynasty in Vancouver. And he pulls off the back of the back of the clipboard where it said AEW and it says Jericho. And he looks at Ricochet and he clicks his pen and he goes, you just made the list. And that's the first time he's done that in like 10 years. And the list Jericho was one of the biggest over things. Like that made me be like, oh, there's still some Jericho left that could be good. But at the end of the day, I don't think Jericho is going to be... I don't know how great this is going to be, but I did enjoy it. And that's the first thing of Chris Jericho's I've enjoyed in a long time. Like when it first started, I was a huge Jericho fan of AEW. But like I talked about last week, it got boring, it got old. I don't need to see Jericho in a faction. If he wants to do a couple matches... I just hope he doesn't join another faction. Maybe a tag team. I don't need to see Jericho hold a title. But I do think it's weird that Jericho was like, I don't care if I'm the main event. I don't care if I open the show. I don't care if I'm on the show at all. I just want to help AEW. And it's like, well, it could have helped AEW a little bit better if you just didn't come back. But that didn't happen, so... I don't know. Another key point that I wanted to bring up before getting into the AEW Dynasty predictions is news that Kyle Fletcher The TNT champion has injured his knee and had to vacate the title. This is a huge blow. It's like you finally get everybody back. You just got Will Ospreay back. You just got Kenny Omega back. And while they were gone, Kyle Fletcher was carrying the place. And now you've lost Kyle Fletcher for probably 6 to 8 months. Like, they just can't catch a break. And this one was a knee injury. I think it happened on Collision. And it's just really sad. But because of that, they are going to run a, what do they call it? The Casino Gauntlet match. And what the Casino Gauntlet match is 21 guys can enter the match. They come in at random intervals, random times, and the first person to get a pin wins. So not everybody gets in. It's a cool match. Like, it's a lot of fun. But this one could go to anybody. And I'm gonna go ahead and transition in to, I'm gonna give you guys my AEW predictions. My predictions for the show, which takes place on Sunday, April 12th from Vancouver, Canada. As of right now, there are 9 matches on the show. I expect, but come Collision on Saturday, there to be 3 to 4 more added, especially considering as of right now, there's only 1 0-hour match. There's usually 2 to 3. So they're liable to add a ton to that. As of right now, the main card only has 8. Jack Perry doesn't have a match right now. The women's tag titles aren't on the show yet. So, like, this is my AEW predictions as of Thursday before the pay-per-view, which takes place on Sunday, and there's still one more show. This should be it. It probably won't be. But as of right now, this is what we got, and this is who all we're going to talk about. And I'm going to start by talking about the AEW Casino Gauntlet match, which I just mentioned a few minutes ago. The first name into the Gauntlet match will be Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa won a match over Moscata Torado. God, I'm so bad at that his name. Like, every time I try to say it, I mess it up. Anyways, Ciampa won the right to be the first name into the Gauntlet. You want to be the first and second person in. Those are the most 2 important spots because they're the only ones guaranteed to be in the match. It could literally end after the second one gets in the ring. It never has, but it could. So that's the spot you want to be in. The number 2 spot is going to be determined on Collision. It was taped already, but I don't know who. I don't go out of my way to watch the spoilers. So to me, I'll find out Saturday night when I watch it, just like everybody else. But yeah, who could win the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal for the TNT title? This one can go to anybody. I'm going to be honest. You could go Tommaso Ciampa and give it back to him. He literally won the title on his first night in. It could be a returning guy. That could be good. One name I saw thrown out there was Swerve Strickland. That would give some legitimacy to the title. It's even possible that you could see Darby Allin go and do 2 matches in one night and win the title. This one's the toughest one for me. You could even see Chris Jericho enter, and God, I hope not. I'm going to go. I like the idea of Swerve, but I'm going to go Tommaso Ciampa gets his title back. I think he gets Sylvie back. And I think the winner of the Casino Gauntlet Battle. God, that's a fucking mouthful. The Casino Gauntlet match is going to be. I'm going. Tommaso Ciampa is going to be the first one in, and he's going to win that fucking thing. I just talked about Jericho versus Ricochet. I think the winner of this one should be Ricochet, but they're not going to do that. Jericho's going to win that match. It's going. I just hope that Jericho looks better. I hope he's been in the ring and not just lifting weights, because he's not. He did not look good those last couple matches. And Ricochet's a high flyer. Jericho's not. But I think Ricochet can hide Jericho's faults and make it a decent match. This is not going to be the match of the night, that's for sure. But I would like to see that. The one match that has been announced for 0 Hour, which is the pre-show on YouTube, which starts, I want to say, at 4 p.m., 5 p.m. It's something stupid. Like, they do like long shows. Yeah, it starts at 4 p.m., the pre-show. So they're doing 3 hour pre-show. They are definitely planning on... No, that's not right. I don't know what time the pre-show starts. Ignore the fucking thing that I just said. Anyways, the only pre-show match so far for 0 Hour is Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir. Marina has been on a tear the last couple weeks, but she keeps losing. Like, she's having great matches. So at a certain point, you got to give her the win. But my thing is, like, the winner of this determines the winner of a match later. The reason this match exists is because of the blood feud between Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley. And Alex Windsor is trying to defend her husband's honor, or boyfriend, or fiance, against the Death Riders, Marina Shafir. I think the winner of this match should be Marina Shafir, but it will probably be Alex Windsor. Alex just recently won the New Japan Strong title, which I didn't know was still a thing but she won it because they have been doing a ton of stuff in Japan still. But I'm going Alex Windsor. I think it should be Marina. I think Marina needs that win. She definitely needs the win more than Alex does. But if Alex wins, it sets up for more bigger things. And so I'm going Alex Windsor. The next match I want to talk about is the AEW Continental Championship match between Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay. This is Will's first huge match back. Like, he's had some smaller matches on television. This is his first pay-per-view match back for Jon Moxley's AEW Continental title. And Will Ospreay should win this. But the problem is, if Will Ospreay wins this, Will Ospreay also needs to win the Owen Hart tournament to get his all-in title match to win the title at All In Wembley in London, in his home country, hometown, whatever. So I'm leaning towards this is not going to have a winner. I think this is going to lead towards a Stadium Stampede style match at Double or Nothing. And I think it's going to be a 20-minute time limit draw between Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay. I do not think we're going to get a winner, which means Jon Moxley is technically the winner and will hold on to the title. But I'm leaning towards a time limit draw here, no winner, to set up a bigger match, which would make sense because then the Alex Windsor Marina Shafir match earlier in the night makes even more sense because then you get you get United Empire versus the Death Riders. That's the way I'm going with it. Because, I mean, this don't make sense because you've got the Brawling Birds of Jamie Hayter and Alex Windsor having singles matches when they could have been going for the fucking tag titles, which is what they should have been doing. But they're kind of tied up into other things because Tony Storm isn't there for that. But because I'm talking about Jamie Hayter, next match I want to talk about is the AEW Women's World Championship between Tekla and Jamie Hayter. Tekla is keeping that fucking title. She is the best thing on AEW women's television right now since Tony Storm's been gone. She's proven that she is an American Like, she is perfect for American TV. She struggled in Japan, but damn, she's been a dominant heel. She's good on the mic. She puts on great matches. I think Tekla is going to hold on to that title. Next match I want to talk about is Darby Allin versus Andrade El Idolo. MJF has hired Andrade to take out Darby Allin because if Darby wins this match, Darby gets a title shot at Double or Nothing against the winner of MJF versus Kenny Omega. And I personally think Darby's going to win this match. There's a chance Darby could even win at Double or Nothing. But Darby's definitely going to be Andrade. I would have loved to have seen Andrade win and Andrade get that title shot. But it's like they're not willing to push him for some reason. They give him a little bit more, but it's like at the end of the day, they're not willing to give him all. And Darby has done so much work for the company. It makes sense. Like, Darby's a great fucking guy. I've met him twice. He's great with the fans. He's good on media. He's crazy as shit, but he's good at, like, he's a great representative of the company. So I think Darby is going to get that win to get the opportunity for the title shot at Double or Nothing. Now, I don't know then what'll happen, but I'm going Darby Allin. My next match I want to talk about is one that was thrown together last night. Young Bucks versus Okada and Takeshita. Okada and Takeshita have been at each other's throats forever. They are the two best Japanese talent in AEW, and they're on the same faction, but they hate each other. And personally, I would have loved to have seen Okada versus Takeshita, but I think this is a great way to get us there, because this could cost, if they cost each other the match, or it just, those two are the important part of this match. The Young Bucks, I don't give a shit. Like, the Young Bucks are great, but they're the Young Bucks. I want to see Okada versus Takeshita. I want to see Takeshita get his first fucking, well, I want him to get that title. I want him to be the international champion. I think that is the way to do that. And I don't think I think Okada and Takeshita losing would hurt that. So I'm going Okada to Takeshita. We got two more matches left on the card. The AEW Tag Team Champions, FTR versus Cope and Christian. Cope and Christian's winning this. CNC is going to do that because they want to hang those titles in Wembley. And I think they're going to have a TLC match in Wembley of FTR versus Cope and Christian versus the Young Bucks. Best tag team of this generation is the winner of that match. It'll probably be the Bucks because they want to put them over, especially since they're baby faces again. But as of right now, Cope and Christian, they could be one of the more entertaining parts of the show. Like, Christian last night saying that he fucked both Dax and Cash's mom, and when he gets done, when he wins the title, then he's going to fuck Stokely's mom too, was fucking hilarious. That was one of the best lines of the night. It was a good payoff from the week before where Roppongi Vice comes in and attacks Cope and Christian, and it helps FTR because FTR attacked them the week before. And then my laugh out loud moment of the fucking night was when Stokely spears Christian. And then now they've been comparing his spear to Goldberg and Cope's, and just, it was hilarious. I loved it. Like, Stokely has been one of the best additions to FTR, and FTR is my favorite tag team of the last 10 years. Like, I love FTR. I like FTR more than the Bucks. I like FTR better than the Usos. I like FTR better than New Day. FTR, I'm an FTR guy. That being said, I'm going Cope and Christian. I think that's the winner of this match. And then last, the AEW World Championship match. The Devil versus the God of Pro Wrestling. MJF versus Kenny by God Omega for the AEW World Title. This match is going to steal. Well, it shouldn't. There's no steal in the show. This match is the fucking show. Like, they are going to be the best match of this show. I don't think Kenny's got a ton more left in him, and I think this is where he's going to push that gas pedal, and him and Max are going to have one of the best matches of the year. I think this is I think this has match of the year potential. And I think MJF is going to retain because MJF needs to be beaten by Will Ospreay. That being said, I could also see Kenny Omega beating MJF, holding the title till Double or Nothing. Darby Allin beating Kenny Omega. And then MJF screwing Darby Allin to get back the title right before All In to be beaten by Will Ospreay. Like, that's also a possibility. But as of right now, I'm going to go through the card from top to bottom. I'm going to go top to bottom, or in the order that they are in this picture, not exactly in the order that I said. I got, for the AEW World Title, I got MJF beating Kenny Omega. I have Cope and Christian beating FTR for the World Tag Team titles. I have Tekla retaining over Jamie Hayter for the Women's World Title. I have a time limit draw with Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay, which means Jon Moxley will retain the AEW Continental title. I have Darby Allin over Andrade El Idolo. I have Okada and Takeshita over the Young Bucks. Chris Jericho over Ricochet. I have Tommaso Ciampa winning the TNT title and the Casino Gauntlet match. And lastly, I have Alex Windsor defeating Marina Shafir. Let me know down below in the comments who you think should win those matches. And then lastly, on this week's show, I wanted to talk about something that came out, I think it was out 2 weeks ago, but I honestly missed it. I've not been following the UFC as much as I should because I've been very excited about this Netflix card for MVP. But what I missed was my favorite I think he's the best to ever fucking put on the gloves under 155. That is Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, the king of the flyweights. The first UFC flyweight champion will enter this year's class of the UFC Hall of Fame under the modern wing. Whatever the fuck that means. He's going to be a UFC Hall of Famer. He's going to join one of his biggest rivals, Demetrius Johnson will join one of his biggest rivals, and Dominic Cruz, who I think is one of the best 135ers of all time, but not the best low or late fighter. So Demetrius Johnson fought at 125, and I think he's the greatest 125 fighter. I also think he's the best 135 fighter. I would put his technique up against some of the 145ers. But Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson will go in the Hall of Fame. And here's a little bit of I just mentioned a second ago, he's the first UFC flyweight champion. He had 14 fights in the UFC. He lost twice in the UFC. He lost to Henry Cejudo in his last match in a split decision, which realistically he won. But I really think they wanted Cejudo to win that. His only other loss in the UFC come to Dominic Cruz for the 135 title. And then he had one draw against Ian McCall in the UFC flyweight tournament. So he had 14 fights. He went 11-2-1. That's pretty fucking impressive. On top of that, he also was part of the WEC. He had 3 fights in the WEC, which is owned by the UFC, so that's in canon. He won 2. He did lose his first fight in the WEC in his debut, but he went from his debut on April 24th in the WEC versus Brad Pickett, lost that match. He did not lose another match until a year later, on October 1st of 2011, when he lost to Dominic Cruz for the 135 title. Now, after he fought that 135 title, he dropped to 125 and entered the flyweight tournament. He did not lose again until his last match in the UFC against Henry Cejudo. He defended his title 11 times, which is the most in UFC history. After he lost his title to Henry Cejudo, he was then traded, the only trade in UFC history, to ONE FC. Now, ONE FC is created by one of his trainers. He wanted out. They let him out, and they did a trade for him. Forgot who. Funkies, who they got. I cannot think of. They traded Ben Askren for him. Ben Askren then come into the UFC and did not do great. That being said, Demetrius continued to excel. He then went on to only lose one more fight in his career. He did a trilogy against Andrade Morales for the ONE championship. The flyweight title, which in ONE FC is done at 135. So he won that title in his first match there and become the champion. And then he retired as the ONE FC champion. Andrade Morris is still currently the ONE FC. No, he's not. So he had a fight for the vacant title last year and lost. So he's not fought since then. Anyway, this isn't about him. This is about Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. This is about the best small man in the business. He deserves to be in the UFC Hall of Fame. He is 25. He has 25 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw. He has 8 submission wins, 5 knockouts. He lost 1 time by knockout and 3 times by decision. Mighty Mouse went on to compete in a ton of jiu-jitsu afterwards. Like, he's still active. He's got a podcast today. Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, welcome to the UFC Hall of Fame. Like, I can't wait to talk about it again. But that's all I got for this week, guys. We are at the 1 hour mark. I wanted to get out of here just right at that. But make sure you like this page, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell your friends. We got a lot of stuff coming up next week. It is Wrestlemania week. Expect for videos Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We will be back with our podcast next Thursday at 8 p.m., just like this week, just like always. The other videos may be live, but most likely are going to be pre-recorded and put up. So keep an eye out on that. Keep an eye out for the shorts. Like everything we do. Share it. Sharing is caring, guys. So make sure you hit that share button and tell all your friends to subscribe to RSRG Entertainment. We are 9 subscribers away from 100. Let's get there I want to be over 100 by Mania. Help me get there. Help me help you. And that's how we're going to do that. But yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, do all those things. Hit us up on our social medias. I'm going to put those on the bottom again one last time. At RSRG Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and X. We are trying to grow all of those. X is literally just there. So if you really want to get a hold of us, Instagram comes first. And then like our TikTok, because eventually we're going to try and start going live on TikTok as well, through our streaming partner of StreamYard. So hopefully that happens in the near future. But that's where we're at for this week, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.